What's going on, everybody? It's D Frank. I'm back in the Black ScatPack for part 2. I already just talked about the few negatives I don't like about it, which ain't nothing to complain about. Now we're gonna get into the things I absolutely love about this car. I'm gonna start off with number 5. It should be a given because other than me, touching on the last video talking about the small things that you have to, that I don't like about the appearance, but still, car enthusiasts know what kind of car this is. Just the look that you get from car people is one of the many things I love about this car. It's one of those cars that commands attention. Don't get me wrong, the Mustangs, the 5.0 Mustangs, your SS Camaros, you notice that, you take notice of them. But for me personally, I see more of them than I do ScatPack Challengers. Same with Chargers, especially Chargers. I think the ScatPack and SRT and Hellcat Chargers are more rare sight around where I'm from than the Challengers are. So that's one of the many things I love about this car. And I'll say number 4 is just the Uconnect system as a whole. Because I like how you can set your iPod up on it or your iPhone. It plays right through the Uconnect system. It even shows what you're listening to. Like right now, I have my phone connected and I'm listening to a podcast that my cousin does on YouTube right now. Speaking of them, a big shout out to them because they featured me on a segment a couple weeks back. And it's given insight on a certain situation going on in the NFL from being a military vet's perspective of it. But I think they have a really good show, and they're just getting up and started, and they cover just about every sport there is. So if you want to, give them guys a listen, and I'll leave their information down below. But back at the task at hand. Number 3, I'll say the different drive modes. In one of my videos that I did about the Taser, and I touched on that and the things I dislike about this car, it opened up the spot for what I like. The drive modes. One of the guys asked me what was one of my favorite drive modes in this car. Honestly, some people probably expect me to say track, but I like eco mode because when I was daily driving it, I was able to, save a little bit more fuel economy. It shuts down a lot quicker and goes into 4-cylinder mode a lot quicker than it would without it, and it doesn't reduce the power that much. And then if you want somebody, let's say you got a kid, brother, or nephew or whatever, want to borrow your car, let's say if you want to go to the football game on Friday night, homecoming or prom or whatnot, and if you don't trust them with all that power, you can just put it in valet mode, and this thing, to my best description, feels like driving a brick on wheels once it's in valet mode. So yeah, and then I'll say number 2 is how well this thing holds speed. Like, you probably, on my Instagram, you probably seen some of the videos I've done, with it driving on a straight line, and probably one of my last videos I posted. And by all means, I do not encourage driving like that, but for it to be such a heavy car, man, it holds its speed way above 100, 140 for that matter, and it holds steady. Especially once you put the steering in either track or street mode, you hardly get any kind of play in it, which is good. And number 1 is just how responsive this thing is. Like, touching back on how big, everybody knows the weight jokes and talking about this damn thing is pretty much a boat on wheels and everything, but for this mug to be heavy, it's responsive. Just imagine how even quicker this thing would be if it was lighter. But I love the snap that you get once you hit the gas in it, especially if you get somebody up here that isn't used to riding muscle cars and just seeing their reaction. Whew, I just love that, especially when you put somebody up here who ain't used to it. But yeah, that's pretty much my 5 things I like about this car. And it's hard to just put all the things I like about this car. Those are just the 5 that come to my mind. It's many more reasons why I love this car. And that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe.